Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Riz Talks. I'm your host Riz and I'm happy to have you join me as we explore who we are and what it truly means to be human. Our motto here is to think again about our views in the light of facts and true history. There are more sides to every story. Here we challenge the way we see the world and ourselves, how our history, heredity, and environment have shaped our beliefs and values. Do these things really matter if you have to build a better world? Today's episode is titled Drowning in Data, the data disaster or data centers explosion. The cloud that we keep collecting our data in are right here on Earth, and they're exploding with the governments and multinationals quench for infinite data. While consuming an obscene amount of energy and drinking water, it will only get worse with the new era of facial recognition technology, artificial intelligence, and what follows next, unless we can find better alternatives. So much for saving the planet and climate change. Mostly to collect a personal data, losing our right to privacy. It, along with fake media and artificial intelligence, is a threat to democracy and humanity, polarizing people with curated content. There are over 12,000 data centers worldwide, with the United States hosting nearly half of the global total. Next in line are Germany, United Kingdom, China, Canada, France, Australia, Netherlands, Russia, and Japan. Top 10 markets by total power capacity are Northern Virginia, Beijing, London, Singapore, Tokyo, Frankfurt, Shanghai, Sydney, Dallas, and Phoenix. These orders can vary as new data centers are built. First, let's look at the environmental impacts. As mentioned, the explosion of clouds, which is data centers, particularly those powering artificial intelligence, has significant environmental and societal costs. A single chat GPT query can use 10 times more electricity than a standard Google search. Higher energy consumption means higher greenhouse gas emissions. Just in the US, data center energy demand is projected to rise from about 3% of the national total in 2022 to 88% by 2030. Google's emissions have risen over 50% since 2019. This is a conservative estimate. Cooling these powerful computers requires vast amounts of drinking water. By 2027, global AI demand is projected to account for 4.2 to 6.6 billion cubic meters of water annually, which is more than the total annual water use of Denmark. Cooling is a massive expense, accounting for up to half of a data center's energy consumption. With AI workloads, advanced liquid immersion cooling will become essential. The energy from data centers can strain local power grids, leading to higher electricity bills for residents. It could more than double by 2040 as the local residents pay for the infrastructure costs. Noise pollution from on site power generation and cooling towers is like a drone humming 24/7. Some residents living nearby have started living in the basement. Some data centers are worse than others. Some located in water stressed areas like deserts require more water for cooling, placing a strain on local freshwater resources. They were built there to get cheap land and use solar panels, but did not turn out to be very energy efficient. Data centers that draw electricity from grids dependent on coal and natural gas have a much higher carbon footprint. Generally, more than half of the electricity for data centers comes from fossil fuels. Older technology facilities are less efficient as they have not adopted advanced cooling technologies like liquid immersion cooling or energy efficient hardware. Hyperscale data centers for AI use powerful, densely packed chips, consume vastly more energy and water than the traditional facilities. So, the environmental damage from data centers primarily comes from these three areas: high energy demand and emissions, substantial water consumption, e-waste, and land use. Let's have a look at the social aspect of data. The old TV, or as it was called, the idiot box, is now following us in our phones with individualized shitposts. The human impact based corporations and governments collecting personal information at unprecedented scales. This hyper data collection on individuals is often without clear purpose or adequate protection. Meanwhile, cyber criminals are leveraging deepfakes to exploit and extort people. Softwares like Amazon Recognition, Microsoft Face API are susceptible. They are harvesting our data like a crop that never ends. We can stop that. The implications of a privacy security are profound for humanity. The surveillance based economy, where knowledge of personal information translates to power and profit. In this model, the more corporations know about you, the more they can predict and influence what you think, what you buy, or how you vote. The implications extend beyond commercial concerns to potentially threaten individual autonomy and democratic processes. Deepfake technology has dramatically lowered the barrier to entry for sophisticated cybercrime. These AI generated forgeries, including fake images, videos, audio, and text, appear authentic but are completely synthetic. Banks and financial institutions are experiencing an onslaught with financial fraud costing nearly $1 trillion. Deepfakes are being weaponized for extortion. Criminals can generate false images or videos that show people in embarrassing or illegal situations, then demand payment to prevent release. Deepfake text and images help criminals create convincing fake documents to steal identities. So, what can you do? Encrypted communication tools like Signal are better than WhatsApp. Private email services that use zero access encryption ensure that not even the provider can read your messages. Virtual private networks, VPNs, encrypt internet connections, making it harder for government entities and others from monitoring your online activities. Data minimization is limiting sharing your personal information. Regular software updates also help protect against spyware or hacking tools. That's what you can do. What can we do collectively? Compel authorities to implement privacy regulations, regulate organizations to permanently delete data when it's no longer needed for its original purpose. Stop data overload. Limit organizations from collecting more data than they need. End analysis paralysis caused by collecting too much data. No more illusion of consent, asking us to accept complex terms and privacy policies that we are forced to accept without reading. Seek legislation to stop or limit government's extensive capabilities to monitor digital communications under the banner of national security and public safety. Use of advanced hacking programs should be prohibited, like the Israeli spyware Pegasus or Italian hacking team, which access all phone data, including messages, and can have access to your cameras and microphones at any time. Prevent metadata analysis, which is information about who is communicating with whom, when, and for how long, without necessarily reading message content, still revealing people's association and activities. Next, control corporate data exploitation. What data can be used for monetizing through targeted advertising. They do not fool us by saying they provide a personalized experience. Some examples are the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal. It demonstrated how personal data was used to create psychographic profiles for political influence. Meta states that they don't sell any of our information to anyone, but we know they do share data with partners, vendors, and service providers, creating additional pathways for potential misuse. Companies like Google track activities across their ecosystem, from email searches to YouTube viewing habits, to build detailed behavioral profiles. Why? Resultantly reduce the number of data centers and the environmental damage being caused. Ultimately, protecting privacy requires more than individual action. It demands a collective effort. As one privacy advocate notes, in the data economy, online privacy is a collective endeavor. We all need to protect our individual freedom, equality, and democracy. This includes supporting stronger privacy regulations, demanding transparency from technology companies, and fostering greater public awareness about digital rights. With the advancement of artificial intelligence, our personal data will be used at higher levels for exploitation. 1 in 4 of global data centers are already at high risk from climate hazards like flooding and cyclones. Hubs such as New Jersey and Massachusetts could have risk increased by up to 1,000% between 2025 and 2100. Besides the biggest concentration in USA followed by Europe, new emerging markets like India, Brazil, Kenya, the UAE, and Singapore are building data centers to serve as regional hubs. China constructed the world's first wind-powered underwater data center, a UDC, near Shanghai, similar to the one created by Microsoft in Scotland. New data centers are now built in cold places like Canada, though they tend to be closer to majority of users near cities for faster speeds and access to infrastructure. The other challenges we have explored today is corporate data harvesting, government surveillance, and AI-powered cybercrime. This is all concerning the building of data centers and the use of our data. The accumulation of vast data troves attractive criminals, while the proliferation of deepfake technology lowers the barriers to sophisticated fraud and extortion. Yet, through informed choices about the tools we use, the data we share, and the policies we support, we can begin to rebalance the scales. Privacy is not about having something to hide, but about maintaining control over our personal information and digital identities. In an age where data is power, protecting our privacy means protecting our autonomy, our security, and perhaps our democracy. Thank you for joining this podcast. Are we living in a way that will leave this world better? It's now time to act. So please share the message with others. Think again, challenge ideas, join the conversation, and subscribe. This is Risk Talks. Be curious, be kind, and come back for more.